This is Top Shop Podcast.
Shop Podcast.
Top Shop Podcast.
Podcast for automotive service business owners by Paul Donahue.
Hey, auto repair shop owners. We are in beautiful St. Louis. Well, I don't know if it's beautiful right now. We might have a tornado coming in, but we are in St. Louis, Missouri. We are at the Spring MAP Conference. But where the MAP Conference is at is pretty interesting. We're not at a hotel like we normally are. We're at Hunter Engineering. We are in their research and development building, and the MAP Conference is being held in the rec center. And I'll tell you what, Hunter must be a great company to work for, because you should see their rec center. It's pretty good, pretty nice. Absolutely. They got the golfing thing in there, basketball courts. They got everything. So today's mini podcast, we've got Scott Kochetta. He's the director of NAPA Autotech Sales and Business Development. How long have you been there now?
I've been with NAPA 40 years. But
40?
Yes, but over Autotech training for 4.5 years now.
Okay, all right, Autotech training. So tell me about the Autotech training through NAPA. So how does your company making investments in technology and training, or just tell me about the training programs, because this is a really, really big subject in the auto repair industry is training. There's ATI, there's AMI, there's Vision trade shows. You guys are huge.
We participate in
Oh, you're a big one at the Vision trade show. Were you there personally?
Yeah, absolutely.
Oh, you were? I was there also,
Yes.
so maybe.
Well, there's no lack, of training events, thankfully, but
Right.
also no lack of training providers. And it's Autotech's goal, of course, to fill the void that's quickly upon us. With the aging technician retiring, you've got to find that next generation of technicians.
That's for sure.
And heck, it's not an easy task. Nothing worthwhile is easy. We're absolutely hitting up high schoolers. We're finding out that sometimes plucking your next technician from someone down the street, that isn't the best way. You absolutely, we feel, can grow them from within.
Right, yeah. Scalping techs from other shops, that's one of those things that tend to come back and bite you in the butt
Well,
later.
no sooner do you succeed at that and someone else is trying to steal them away.
from you. So, right. So, and just a quick plug, this is a mini podcast on our show, Top Shop Podcast. So Top Shop Podcast is on a quest to interview 100 shop owners that are getting ready to retire. We have a huge aging population of auto repair shop owners, and these people are leaving the industry with 20, 30, 40 years of expertise and experience under their belt, and we're on a mission to record them. We get them as, hey, what was a tough time that you guys had with your shop and how'd you make it through? Questions that other shop owners years from now would love to hear the answers to. So if anybody's out there listening, if you know a shop owner that's been in business over 10 years, it might even be yourself, or if you know someone who's getting ready to retire, tell them to go to Top Shop Podcasts with an S, TopShopPodcast.com, and there's a spot on there where you can request to be a guest on the podcast, okay? So I just thought I'd toss that in there. So what are the most important benefits that your company or organization is providing the independent aftermarket repair shop owner?
Well, I guess from a high level, of course, it's the parts distribution that we have in NAPA Auto Parts. But if you bring it down to training,
right,
it's absolutely finding a way to get this next level trained up, because it isn't, as they say, your grandfather's Cadillac. You have to train them for this next generation. There was a day when the first thing we would train on, everyone wants brakes training. You lead with brakes, as they say. But heck, just left a seminar regarding hybrids and EV vehicles. If you don't know electrics and electrical,
right,
you're going to be left behind. It's not a difficult thing, but you have to be taught it. It's not something second nature, I wouldn't think, to someone like you, Paul.
Right, yeah. No. It requires a training process. So there's a lot of competition in the marketplace with training. How does NAPA Autotech differ?
You know, there is a lot of competition, but we actually look at each other somewhat as partners.
Okay.
Because we all have identical missions. When you think about 1 million technicians in the next 3 to 5 years vacating this industry, we have to collectively combine. We all have our different methods of training. The thing our calling card, if you will, for our daytime training sessions is we will never tie up a technician's working bay to teach their technicians. That's their bread and butter.
Right.
So we bring in working mock-ups, say for brakes. We can train in a conference room, a hotel room, the back of a Denny's if there's space. We're bringing in rotors, we're bringing in calipers and drums, and all the tooling needed to train your technicians over 3 days on a topic. It's much desired because we're not taking down a shop's ability to drive revenue.
Okay, so Autotech is really focused on getting the techs trained without downtime to the auto repair shop owner.
That's the key.
That's a real big competitive difference, in the marketplace. So what investments is your company making in terms of technology and training programs to help repair shops stay current with rapidly evolving automotive technology such as electric and autonomous?
We spent all of 2023, our development team, building what we call our next wave of training. We refer to it as EV Ready, under an umbrella of Next Drive is the banner program. And the special thing about it, of course, is it's not sending a technician for 1 hour or 3 hours of training. It's an investment, sending them for 4 full days of training.
Wow. Okay, so the shop sends their tech to Autotech, 4 full days of training. You guys have spent an entire year putting a training program together specifically for the EV.
That is correct. And we'll qualify it hybrid EV since they're so closely connected. The reality is, though, although classroom and theory is important, it's heavy on hands-on and, most importantly, safety. Heck, you get close to these things, it can get deadly, let's be honest, but that is paramount as far as what we're discussing at the front end of the class. And we've had a good track record with attendees. It's playing to rave reviews, and we do cap the class, maximum attendance of 8 people per week-long session.
Oh, wow.
And that's, of course, because we don't want wallflowers. We don't want people sitting and not touching. I mean, we're taking apart these vehicles. We're putting them back together. We're slipping bugs in so that they can learn how to diagnose these things.
Okay.
When they leave this training, they're equipped to invite customers in saying, we can repair these things.
Okay, so if a shop is interested in getting Autotech training, what do they need to do? How do they get in touch? Is there a website?
They absolutely can go to support@napaautotech.com and send an email saying you're interested. That would be the easiest way.
All right, so that's support@napaautotech.com. So send them a message and see what they've got. Just a couple questions, Scott, about MAP itself, the Motorist Assurance Program. How important is MAP to Autotech?
It's hugely important. Certainly it creates a consistency out there in the industry where we're all telling the same message. We remember the old days where people were maybe taking some editorial license on whether to recommend or suggest a repair, and they were guessing wrong, selling a bag of goods. Right now, with this consistent message, it gives the customer an advocate working for them and gives them the confidence to see a shop that is involved with MAP and AMRA. I'll speak just from a personal standpoint. My wife, she is the one that, oddly enough, I've been doing this 40 years. Mm-hmm. She's the one that takes the car to the shop to get a repair because I'm working. I'm traveling today. Well, she's got to have the confidence, A, that someone is trained and qualified to fix our vehicles.
Right.
We use ASE certification for that. But then how do we know that they're doing repairs to a certain standard? And anyone that is MAP certified, she has the confidence that, hey, they're not going to sell her a bag of goods. Mm-hmm. Hugely important for that person in the household trying to find that shop that they can trust.
Okay, awesome. How does MAP help build trust between you and your customer base?
The way AMRA does it, I'll tell you, it's interesting. We are learning more through this relationship with AMRA MAP on governmental regulations, cutting edge things that are changing. I'll use R1234YF in the refrigerant realm. We're learning more about the changes with that than we are from other industries. So somehow AMRA MAP is getting this information well before the rest of the industry. Mm-hmm. And the fact that we're involved with it, we're getting to see it earlier. And I would say that's absolutely a benefit for these organizations that decide to join in and become a member. It's cutting edge, leading technology.
Yeah, I think you just answered the last question. Why should other organizations join AMRA?
Not only for that reason of getting cutting edge, industry leading information quicker, but there's a camaraderie. Heck, these technical conferences that are hosted a few times a year, when you see these leaders out there really committed to learning what the future holds, it doesn't happen without someone like Jeff Cox and the AMRA MAP organization pulling this together. And it's valuable information and one that we need to get more and more involved in.
Yeah. So for those of you that are not familiar, MAP is the Motorist Assurance Program. It sets the standards for the industry, and it really takes the monkey off your back when you go to your customer and say, hey, this brake fluid was supposed to have been replaced 20,000 miles ago. Now you can say, we're a Motorist Assurance Program shop, and the Motorist Assurance Program says that this should have been the manufacturer and the Motorist Assurance Program. So it's the third party saying it, and the customer is much more likely to A, take the recommendation and do the service because they don't feel like you're trying to push that service on them. It's use that third-party psychology. It's not us saying that this should be done. It's the manufacturer, and it's also MAP. So there's these two third-party tools that you can use to do that. So anyway, so that's motorist.org or amra.org if you guys want to check that out. For less than the cost of a lunch, you can join and be a part of the companies and the organizations that are the voice in the industry that help set the standards in the first place. That's what all those people in that room are doing right now, is helping AMRA MAP set the standards that we can all agree on. So,
may I add something?
Sure.
Something that oftentimes gets overlooked, and I didn't recognize this until I got further involved. Large companies, they cannot keep up with all the federal regulations and the changes. It's constant. It's happening in Washington every day. Well, AMRA MAP finds a way to pull all this information and consolidate it, feed it to us. And in an organization like NAPA, when we feed it to our legal departments and they see it as a one-stop shop document, all these things are in the hopper right now, currently being discussed. The benefit is invaluable.
All right. Hey, Scott, thank you very much for your time today. We really appreciate it.
Thank you for having me.
All right.
For additional automotive resources and exclusive content, follow us on Spotify and subscribe to our YouTube channel to catch all our episodes. Thanks again for joining us in the driver's seat, and we'll see you next time for another thrilling episode of Top Shop.